1957 was the same year that we had Guyana start celebrate Ghana Day. My brother, my sister, is Ghana Day still being celebrated in Guyana? What is it like to say Ghana Day? What is so important about Ghana that another nation, several hundreds of kilometers away, several thousands of kilometers away, several moments away from here, my brother, my sister would be interested in celebrating? I have my guests in the house and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and then we jump into action. I will start with you, Deputy Mayor.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I mean, you can guide me on your dialect as to what do I say to a nation.
All right. Please draw the microphone closer to you so we can hear you better. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. What are the words you have learned so far? I mean, you've been here for a couple of days, things like that, right? What have you learned in terms of, I mean, the dialect? Have you learned any one word?
Oh, yes.
Which one?
I learned Akwaba.
Akwaba. Oh.
Yes, I did.
And it means good morning?
No, it means welcome.
Whoa. Okay.
Fire!
Akwaba means good morning. Wow. I didn't know that.
Welcome.
Oh,
It
welcome,
means
sorry.
welcome. No, I said welcome, not good morning. Come on.
I know. All right. So please introduce yourself to us.
Okay, my name is Denise Miller. I'm the Deputy Mayor of the city of Georgetown, Guyana. Georgetown is the capital of Guyana, Cooperative Republic of Guyana, located in South America. And so I'm right now the serving Deputy Mayor.
Did you hear that? Serving Deputy Mayor of Georgetown, the capital of Guyana. She says Guyana. All right. So that is the accent.
I think it's more Guyana, but why we're English speaking. And so you must understand that Guyana is an Amerindian word.
Wow. Did you hear that?
Which means lands of many water.
Did you hear that too? You're welcome. I mean, I'm always excited when I meet Guyanese people. I mean, I've been to Guyana myself, and I am glad I did. Okay, so the next person sitting next to Denise is who?
Well, first of all, I want to say to all your listeners out there, and I may not have the accent right, but I want to say Maha.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, my name is Queen Mother Atiang, also known as Sister Penda, Guyana.
Wow. Thank you.
And I am the president of the Ghana Day Association that celebrates Ghana Day in Guyana.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? So we are live on social media and we also are live all over Ghana and beyond on Manual Radio. Okay, now next to Queen Mother.
Next to Queen Mother is Dr. Rudy Guyana.
Wow.
And no amount of loss of my native tongue could keep me from communicating with my relatives here in Guyana.
Interesting.
And also, sorry, Guyana is Ghana. And that's very
right.
important, you see. But there's something very important I'd like to introduce. No amount of keep going through, no return shows that I'm back. They thought I would have gone through the no return, but I've returned. And a returning force. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Queen Mother Penda Guyana. And this is Dr. Guyana, so there's a Guyana in there. That means that they must be a brother and a sister, are you?
Yes.
Fire!
All right, so I'm going to start with you, Denise. When we say Guyana, tell me briefly, which country is that?
Well, Guyana, it's a multi-ethnic country. You must know that first, and that's because of the different persons that came and not so invaded at control. We were controlled by British, the French, and even the Dutch. So even in the naming of our country and certain areas, we say constituency villages. You have a prominent pronounce of other governments such as the British, the Dutch. But what is more pronounced, because of our national hero, who's Ghanaian, and his name is Kofi, and who started one of our main revolutions in 1763, and he's standing there tall at the square of the revolution. We pay much attention to him, even in the Ghana Day and the Emancipation Day. And so that is where your nexus between Ghana and Guyana. On a political side, your first president and our first executive president were very close friends. As a child, I stood on the ways, shake the Ghanaian flag to welcome that president.
Wow.
So they have always been a very, very close relationship. Many may not know, and so there's the information. Ghana and Guyana have a very close relationship going way back. And so that is why Ghana Day was always celebrated under the auspices of Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, who was then the president of Guyana.
Interesting. Now, what's the population of Guyana?
We are somewhere around 700,000.
Not up to 1 million.
No, we're not 1 million. We're 700,000. As I said to them, if we lose all the population in Ghana, I have to use GPS to find them.
Interesting. Interesting. How big is Guyana?
Guyana is 83,000 square miles. And so even though in terms of land mass and population, we are somewhat not even use up a percentage of our land mass where our population is concerned.
You have black people and you have Indians there. What is the percentages? What is the percentage like?
Even as we speak now, the percentage of Indians are just as level as the black people, because what has happened over the years, and we haven't had a census in a little while, because, and this is going down political borders, because in a census, it can tell you what you're voting in, because we vote along racial part, and that's true, because the Indians are going to vote for an Indian government, and the Afro-Guyanese, so we refer to as Indo-Guyanese and Afro-Guyanese, they are going to vote for a government which looks like them. And there's where you have some challenges as a country. And so we're still working on that. And so you find you have the balance in terms of voting goes directly to the Amerindians, who were also settlers in Guyana.
Do you have 50% blacks, 50% Indians? What are the percentages like?
You will have like 4 to 5% blacks, and you have like a 35% Indians, and the other percentage makeup of the Amerindians, and now we have some Portuguese too.
Coming in, and they are recognized as Guyanese?
No, they're not. They're just what you call border people who come over the border because of economic struggles in Brazil. You have from Venezuela, and you have a lot of Cubans, because since the advent of oil and looking at oil, you find people see Guyana as a hub. Not forgetting the Chinese. We have a 10 or 15% of Chinese who are into the economic pie there in terms of operating businesses, a lot of large Chinese stores. And so you find you have Cubans, people coming from Venezuela, people coming from Brazil who shop commodities cross the borders. And so Guyana is an economic hub right now.
I'm going to get back to you pretty soon, but let me go to Queen Mother Penda. Queen Mother Penda. Now, Guyana, we have our history here in Ghana, how we became independent and all that, and even before independence, what kind of people we were. Take me through the history of Guyana. The Guyana that we know today, what is the history?
Well, the Guyana you know today, we as a people, you know that we were taken to Guyana in the 1600s. And we were taken as prisoners. We were captivated. Yesterday we were at El Mino Castle, and our journey to the other world started going through, as Dr. Gann said, the door of no return. So when we got there, we were there under the Dutch. And we were the persons, because Guyana is below sea level, okay? So we were the persons who had to dig the canals, build a wall, the seawall, to keep the ocean out.
What you're saying is that Guyanese were taken from out of Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, most definitely. And we were taken to this part of the world where we had to build the infrastructure. We built the defense, the seawall, which is in itself a monument, because without that, there'll be no habitable lands, right? So we built that under the Dutch. Then we had to dig the canals, because in order to make the lands arable, you had to get the salt off. So the canals, when the rain fell, it would drain the waters off. So we made all that possible. We actually made Guyana the infrastructure and what it is today. It was the Africans that were taken there that did that sort of work. And Blakk Rasta, what is really important for people to know is that the sufferings that they endured here, coming from the various areas to get down to these castles and dungeons, when they got there, the treatment was even worse. It was the same, because they dug all these canals and built those stones, the jetties, to make the breakage of the water with their bare hands. There were no IMAX. There were no excavators. So they did it.
With their bare hands?
Pardon?
With their bare hands?
We were...
With their bare hands?
Yes,
they
with
dug
their
all
bare
these things,
hands,
yes.
with their bare hands. So we did all of this. And what is important is that once we got there, our life expectancy was only 6 years. If you made it beyond that, it was like you being a centurion.
Wow.
Because once you were they worked you so much that you would die. Okay? Even when you were building the walls or digging the canals, etc., if you were injured, you were thrown overboard. It was that simple. Because they would wait for the next shipment to come in to replace. Now, having done all of that, during the period of the Dutch, the Africans rebelled. And as Deputy Mayor said, you came to 1763, where we had a very large revolution, which was the one headed by Kofi, Accra, and all these people, right? That was a very successful revolution. They like to say it was not, but you don't hold a country, because at the time, Demerara was considered a country. Essequibo was considered a country, and Babis was considered a country. So you do not hold a country for almost a year and not be successful. But of course, the Dutch had the British and other Dutch bring in ammunitions to help them to fight. So coffee was not able to, because we had nobody to supply us with anything. After that period, the revolutions and the rebellions continued. During that time, those of us who always will not accept anyone as our masters flew into the hinterlands whenever it was possible, and we set up what was called maroon villages. We still have some of those standing today. But what happened is that they employed the people that they call indigenous now, which were the Amerindians. They armed them to bring us back, dead or alive. So even though we were escaping, we were kept on those plantations which we call prison industrial complexes. We were kept there as prisoners, and we were forced to work and do whatever. So the revolutions and the rebellions continued until 1823.
This is 3
when
FM.
once again we had Kwame and his son Gladstone. They arranged and planned another revolution.
And these are all Ghanaian names.
Yes, they're all Ghanaians. All our liberators, the main ones were from Ghana. And yesterday we were so proud when we saw the Kramanti village where Kofi came from.
Right,
Yeah?
right.
Okay, so then we had Kwame and his son. And they affected one of the greatest revolutions. It involved over 60-something plantations from Mahaica all the way to Le Souvenir. And they did it organizing with the drums, because remember, we had no telephones or any of those things. So it was a talking drum
Right.
that they used to communicate, and they were able to affect this. They did so non-violently. But the militia, when the governor realized that they were serious, they were coming to Georgetown, to the capital, he sent up the militia that stopped them at a place called Batcher's Adventure. And there they executed over 200. And the others flew back to the villages, you know, the plantations, the prison industrial complexes, as I called it. And the militia went after them. So by the time they were finished, they had massacred over 600.
Do you remember which year this was?
This was 1823.
Just recently.
Yes, 1823 this happened. And it was this revolution that brought us into the Emancipation Act of 1833. So the persons in London, when they heard about the amount of persons that were dead, they became concerned, not because of us, but because they saw us, one, as property, and two, what is going to happen to their investments. So that is how it was a compromise. Our emancipation is a compromise. It wasn't given. It was forced, because after 1823, we brought the plantation system down. 40% production. Now, if you're running a business and your production falls to 40%, you have to shut down.
Yes, you have to.
So what they did is that they gave the proclamation in 34. The act was in 33, 34. And then they offered an apprenticeship. And the apprenticeship was to enable them to recover the monies that were lost. So what they forced us to do was to go into that apprenticeship period. You worked 39 hours with no pay. After, I call it after time pay. After you've completed the 39 hours, then they would pay you for the work that was done after. Now, Blakk Rasta, what is so interesting in that is that during that after time pay, our foreparents saved collectively, hiding their monies, and then they were allowed to have their small farms, which they would take the produce. They amassed monies that at the end of that 4 years apprenticeship, they were able to buy abandoned plantations.
Wow.
That is what were turned into the villages. Yeah. So all that we have acquired, we bought. The other groups were given, but we, even though we worked for over 200 years for free, we still had to turn around and buy those plantations. So having bought those plantations, when we started to work and plant, because we refused to go back to work for them, they flooded our villages. They flooded the crops. But that still didn't deter us. We kept, pressing on. And what they did, they made an act. They passed a law that we could not sell on the open market. We had to sell to the Portuguese that they had brought in. So I'm saying this to show you where we are. It is not a case to say, well, we don't know merchandise, we don't know how to run things. No, it is always that there's something there to prevent you as an African from going to the next step.
Right. Did you name the country?
But, oh yeah, because of my name. No.
No, I'm asking.
No, I'm just joking because the country is Guyana and my name is Guyana. No, I'm just joking.
Yes. I mean, if black people were there before any of all these people, why is the country named after a name that is not black?
Well, that is the main issue, because when someone else tells your story and someone else is telling you what the history is, because we're taught and we're told that the first persons on that landmass were the Amerindians.
Really?
Right? The indigenous people were the Amerindians. And that they are the first people and that they're native to that land. That's not so, because they came across the Bering Strait. And then Lucia, who they found several years ago, proved that we were on the landmass before any other ethnicity. You see the point?
Right.
So even though we were there, and they have acknowledged this, and even the people that they're calling indigenous and that they're the first people, 3 of their tribes came decades after we were brought there. So we were the ones that were there, but they have a way of trying to negate your presence. And this is what has happened.
Did you allow it?
Well, our foreparents, as you know from the history, they've been fighting, but none of our academia today, and I'm saying this categorically, have not put the effort. I mean, Dr. Guyana is always attacking and trying to put this right, but there's always this block that they don't want to accept that we have to fight against these things and that we must not allow it to continue.
Right. If you were going to rename Guyana, what name would you give to it?
Well, that's an interesting point. What would I call it? Would I call it?
And it's not to you alone. I mean, any other person here can answer.
Yeah. Doc, what do you think?
If I were to rename Guyana, I'll name it Guyana.
You will call it what?
Guyana, Guyana.
You will still call it Guyana?
Yes, because it is what it is, and the name represents the physical and the spiritual nature of the country, water and land.
You don't mind that it's not in the black man's language?
No, Nigeria is not an African name, and it's there. So we take things as they are, and we are spiritual people. And as I said, we respect the land and respect all there is, and respect the land of many waters. That's beautiful.
Deputy Mayor, do you agree, Dennis?
I'll agree with him, honestly, because it speaks to the land. The Guyana, a land of many waters. And so I would want to retain that name. I wouldn't, move from that.
Queen Mother, do you want to change your mind? You will maintain?
Yes, can I jump in there?
Yeah, please.
I would say if there is a tree word that would state land of many waters, I will go for that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because as I explained, the persons who brought us to this point were all from Ghana.
That's right.
And so if we can find a word that can describe
a Ghanaian word.
A Ghanaian word.
Preferably a tree word.
Yeah, a tree word that says land of many waters. I would name it that.
Are you changing your mind, Denise?
I'll agree with her with that, because now remember, Kofi came, he impacted our society greatly. He's there. All the other revolutionaries were that of Ghanaian. If you look at our food, and I was saying, and I want to sidestep here, I was just saying, a sister, as I came in the car, I'm in charge of markets. And what I see in the market, it's a culture at home at me. So I feel very at home.
Right.
I understand their selling style, their aggression in the market. So here it is. I'm at home in Ghana because you operate. Your whole characteristics is that of a Guyanese.
Right.
So if we have to change that name, it must have some Ghanaian roots in it.
Interesting.
Yes, it must have some Ghanaian roots, because until you come to Ghana, you then understand where the link lies, because our culture, our mannerism, I'm saying, but they're like us.
For
and
real.
I see, you know, in your operation every day, your characteristics every day. Yeah. So definitely, if anybody wants to doubt that, you have to come to Ghana. And then you will recognize that, yes, our foreparents did come. Oh, when they spoke about fufu, the food, when you talk about so many, I notice you use a lot of porridge here. Guyanese believe in porridge. Guyanese believe in porridge. So it's all Ghanaian.
Dr. Guyan, tell me, why is it important to celebrate Ghana, using Ghana Day in Guyana?
It is most important for us, everyone in Guyana. If it were not for Ghanaians, there would have been no Guyana.
Interesting.
And I must
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
This
And
is
I must say this
3FM.
to even develop that even more. The Ghanaians, the Africans that came to that land, are the only people that be considered indigenous. That's the first thing. The only people who were taken, who don't know why they're there. It's very important. Everybody else came as invaders. Even the people they lie and consider indigenous, they're not indigenous.
The Indians?
No, not the Indians, the Amerindians.
The Amerindians.
No Amerindians in South America is indigenous. They all came as invaders over a strip of land called the Bering Strait. They came from some place from Asia. They don't even know where they came from, so therefore they have no ancestral knowledge. The only people on that continent that have ancestral knowledge are Africans. The Europeans don't know their ancestors. The British don't know their ancestors. They know their foreparents. The Portuguese, same, etc., etc. Well, the Chinese may a little better. But basically, the only people in the country Guyana that have ancestral consciousness are Africans. So however you put it, we have our roots, whether we like it or not. We have our roots there, although we don't know why we're there. Where, in fact, I usually say, everyone in Guyana today has an entrance program and an exit program. The only people in Guyana who are actually lost but did so much for Guyana are Africans, because we were dragged there. And we kept so confused that we hadn't a chance to make any plan why we're there, any plan of exit, so therefore we cannot compete. And that's another thing to understand what's happening in Guyana. They usually see us at the bottom of the whatever ladders there is. But that's because we haven't had a chance to plan, say why we here, what we want to do, etc.
Interesting. What's the difference between Indians and Amerindians?
Oh, that's a great question. The reason is that I usually call Amerindians a derogatory term, a derogatory name. Where is Euro Indians? Why American Indians? Is Christopher Columbus set out to go to Asia. People say lost, and this is what my brothers and sisters out there, I'd like you to know this. Christopher Columbus was not lost. At the time when when Christopher Columbus was planning to go to India through another route, the cardinals of the church knew there was a land there. They got a map, from where? From my foreparents. My foreparents gave Europe a map. The cardinals of the church of the Catholic Church was concerned about this map.
Right.
Because if there is a land out there, how will we explain to the people that there was a flood? You see, everything is a lie. They would lie about the flood and all that. They were worried that if Christopher Columbus go out there and they found people on the land there, how could we say that the world was flooded and everybody died? So the question you asked me, there's so many ways to approach it. But basically, this is how we're going to put it. How we should put it. The Africans are there on a different program to everybody else. The only indigenous people there are the Africans. The only indigenous people that are not recognized are the Africans. We are never given what our real worth. And I stop there because there's a lot of probably further on, don't mind, I know what time we have. Everything pertaining to Africa and Africans are misdefined. So I really would like to just mention a few pertaining to that later when we...
Right.
I want to, if you allow me, to be more pronounced on what you call the nexus or the connectivity between Guyana and Ghana. One must not lose sight that even the political party of which I hail from, the People's National Congress Reform, the color is black, red, and green, which is the Pan-African color. Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham at that time was very, very close with Pan-African movement. And so most of the brothers in the Pan-African movement in the continent of Africa, there was this closeness, there's this relationship. Pan-African then was a force to reckon with.
Right.
And it came to Guyana through Burnham and your first president, who all came, they were all friends. And so much so, he was the catalyst. Remember, his independence was first, before even ours. And so Burnham, for me, as I sit here, looked up to Ghana. And so to pay respect to the brother, he had Ghana Day established in Guyana.
Interesting.
Because remember, and the history is there, they got independence before, Ghana got independence before. And being part of the Pan-African movement,
right,
you recognize that, look, this is the elder brother from the continent who is showing us the way forward in terms of independence.
Yeah.
And so that's where we started.
So the interesting thing is that Ghana got its independence before Guyana, but Guyana started celebrating Ghana's independence as if it was their own independence before they had their own independence. What do you do on Ghana Day, Queen Mother?
Well, what we do is we celebrate Ghana because we understand the connectiveness, one. And two, as you know, it was the first English-speaking country in the sub-Saharan Africa to gain its independence. And we celebrate because we want to keep that connectivity. We celebrate because of our revolutionaries. And we celebrate because we want our people to understand the significance. You know, years ago, and I saw this last year, and I was really surprised when someone, I don't know if it's you, asked a quiz here in Ghana, who sang the song Ghana that you sing here, you know.
right.
Ghana, Ghana
Of
is
course,
the name,
of course.
Ghana, the name we acclaim.
Of course, I asked that question.
Yes, and you know, even when I asked people back there, they didn't know either.
Right.
But I told our sage, our elder, Brother U.C. Guyana, I said, Uncle, do you know who did this? And he said, no. And I said it was Lord Kitchener. That was made specifically in 57.
That's true.
For the celebration of Ghana. And that shows how much we appreciated, because at the time, we had no African country, this part of the world, that gained its independence. So it was a very big thing for us throughout the Caribbean, here in Africa, you know, all over.
Right.
So we celebrated Ghana Day, as Deputy says, because of the connectiveness with people like George Padmore, Kwame Nkrumah, you know, our own President Lyndon Forbes Burnham. They were all a part of the Pan-African movement.
Right.
Because when Nkrumah left United States of America and went in to England, he met up with these people, and that's where the Pan-African movement was birthed.
Right.
So from there, they kept up that connectivity. And it was unfortunate that after the death of President Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, the Ghana Day celebration in Guyana kind of wavered. But then we revitalized, we brought it back up again. And we are up and running with it, because what we do on that day is we celebrate, as you would hear, but then we have an educational aspect to it. And what we do is that we encourage our people to do presentations on various African countries, on Africa, etc. And we have Ghana Day Queens that research, and they would come forward on stage and say who they represented. Like one of the greatest ones we had is when they did Queen Nana Asantewa, and it was dynamic. And, you know, we have different presentations. So what happens on that day is that our queens educate the audience on Ghana and on other parts of Africa. So we have the celebration, but we have it with an educational component. And it's been growing. I mean, when we started, it was small, and it started growing, and it's getting bigger each time. And we're hoping that we will continue in the same vein, because we see ourselves as ethnic Ghanaians.
Exactly. And next year, we're also going to be doing Guyana Day right here in Ghana. And yes, people are looking up to that. Wow. And for the first time, we're going to have, you know, Guyana Day in Ghana. We can't wait to see how it's going to be, accepted, and how people are,
yeah,
for real.
Well, seeing that you have mentioned that, we'll start working on putting the little money together to get back here for
real. That will be, and the president listens to this show. I am sure that they will be able to support us do something. But Dr. Guyana, tell me, what is the relationship, general relationship between the Amerindians and the black people right there in Guyana? Is it a cordial relationship?
There should be. I said should. Now, my grandmother is an Amerindian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my father's mother. There is that type of relationship, but also there is a negative part to it.
Okay.
Although individually we like to be, as a group, say the Amerindians as a group, as an ethnic group, I don't call them racial group, as an ethnic group, they would fight shy of bringing you into the society, into the group, into the community.
Right.
So when a female, most of the time, not every time, I don't know all the relationship, but in my situation and other people's situation, when the woman becomes pregnant, she's an outcast.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so I will say to you that what they call racial, they're the overused word, they're not a togetherness between Africans. I give a quick example. During the time of before 1833 is when we had the so-called Emancipation Act. Before then, you had a lot of I call them communities or principalities in Guyana that were Afro, and I call them the not Amerindian, but they're the principalities, the pre-Columbian principalities. I'm trying to get a name for them. Now those people, we worked together, and they had a lot of so-called Afro Amerindian tribes. Now there isn't one. They're being exterminated, and I'm saying this officially.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You don't have Afro-Amerindian?
Tribes.
So-called,
are using those words that everybody use. No. And there are pictures, there are photographs of these so-called tribes.
But do you have individuals like that around intermarriages? I mean, and then you have this Amerindian, African, kind of.
No, this is the point I'm making to everyone, you and everyone out there. Prior to the emancipation,
right,
there were communities of Africans and so-called Amerindians.
Oh, okay.
And they existed there visually and recorded. What happened to those so-called communities or group of people after 1834 or 1833? And nobody's talking about it. We literally exterminated. And that is I'm saying this on air, I'm saying this to everyone. The Africans who lived in community with the Amerindians in Guyana were exterminated. You can't find them. You can't find one African and Amerindian community in Guyana.
It's not existent anymore.
It's not there. How come? But you could find photographs. So that's the point you're making. The point is, wherever we and everyone listening here today should know wherever we are as human beings, we are endangered. In Guyana today, the African is an endangered species. In North America, the African is an endangered species. And if people say, what are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Before 1833, we built everything in Guyana. And I say this openly. No other people in Guyana built anything. We provided the labor for anything. We never paid a cent for anything. All right. After 1833, and after 1838, we're the only people in Guyana who owned land. And I say you find that the Caucasian may have owned land, but in terms of people who are dwelling in the place, living in the place, we're the only people who own. The Indians who came, who were brought to that country, I'm talking to people from India, they owned nothing. What they were given everything they owned. Every land, it was bought for them. We had nothing bought for us. How come today the Portuguese, they came and the Chinese came, they had nothing. They came as indentured. How come we who owned so many villages, eventually call them villages, today own less land than any other group in Guyana? The Portuguese are only about, say, 9,000 people or so, and they own more land than Africans.
Right.
The Amerindians own 14% of Guyana. Officially, they're the largest landowners. Their land was given to them.
Interesting.
And how come then we who own more than anybody else in that country own less? And look, every day we having, and they call it so-called ancestral land. It is not ancestral land. It's our foreparent land that all foreparents worked so hard to get. We losing every bit of it.
Right.
This is Green FM.
It looks like we have run out of time. We have only 1 more minute to go, unfortunately. In fact, we need about 10 hours to do this very beautiful discussion. And I have some 2 people sitting in the corner. Please join me. I'm going to ask you 1 question each, and then we'll close the show. Please come and speak into the microphones here. Just come, pull 1 microphone to yourself. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to ask you this. Okay, all right. What's your name first and foremost? What's your name?
I'm Corinne Tishmaker.
Corinne.
I am the Vice President of the Ghana Day Association.
Beautiful. And you're wearing a beautiful Ghanaian cloth. My mother used to wear this, and anytime I see this design, it takes me back to those wonderful days. She sold me a very small shirt from this material, and this was somewhere in 1980 when I was only about 6 years old. Interesting. Thank you so much for reminding me of my mom. What is it about Guyanese and iguana? She didn't expect that.
The thing about it with Guyanese and iguana, I am going to tell you, I have a phobia for iguanas. Because the first time my father bought an iguana, you know they have a saying that when your parents...
Producer, find me a photograph of iguana. Let's put it out. Iguana.
When my father, every time, because he used to work out of town, so when he comes home, all the children would go and pull open his bag. So I was the first one to enter the bag. When I opened the bag, the first thing that looked at me was an iguana. But I hit the backyard. So iguanas and me, no.
So you've never eaten iguanas?
No, I refuse to eat it when I saw it like that.
All right, so this is what the iguana looks like.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Okay, please introduce yourself to us, and I will ask you the same question. If you enjoy iguana meat.
I am Marcia.
Marcia.
Yes.
Nice having you here.
Thank you.
You like iguana meat, right? A lot of Guyanese. I hear it's your national meat right there in Guyana. True?
Yes, it is a national meat for a lot of Guyanese. But
Please closer to the microphone, please. Or just pull it close to you. Yes.
yes, it is a national meat for Guyanese. But to be honest, just like Sister Corinne, I am not an iguana person. Of course, those meals were cooked in my home because my mom, she's from what we call one of the rivering area in Guyana. That's called Fort Island. So a lot of wild meat, they would practically prepare and eat. But for me, no.
You've never eaten it?
No.
How do you slaughter this thing? I'm just wondering, how do you slaughter? Do you slaughter it or just throw it in the hot water, hot soup?
I know it's for the 2 of them, but they don't know.
They don't.
You slaughter it by just having a pin, and you put it in the mold of the iguana, and it's dead.
Oh, wow.
Simple pin. In the mold, it's dead, and then you put it in the hot water.
Okay.
You put it right there in the mold. Just a simple pin, and it kills it instantly. And then what you would do is then put it in the boiling water and take all the scales off.
What does it taste like? Fish?
Delicious. It's better than fish, it's better than chicken, it's better than goat.
Wow.
It's one of the best meals you can have.
What can you eat this with? Roti? What?
Anything. You eat it with roti, you eat it with rice. You can even eat it with fufu.
Wow.
If you make it into a nice curried sauce.
We don't have this in Ghana, but we have lizards that look like this.
Oh no, I wouldn't chance the lizard. The next time we come, I promise I will bring you some dried iguanas.
Oh, unfortunately, I'm vegan.
Oh well, you're like me. I stopped eating those things.
Oh, wow. You stop. So this is Guyana's favorite meat. It is called an iguana. You know, this is not a lizard. Ghanaians don't know this animal. Is it a reptile? Ghanaians don't know it.
That eat only green.
Ah.
It lives vegetation. It lives in the trees, and you see the guys climbing to catch it.
Does it bite?
Of course.
It does?
Eat.
It bites?
Defense mechanism.
Does it bite?
Also, I'd be far from it.
Yeah. Okay. So it bites. When you see it, be very careful. It does bite. But she says a small pin right in the mold there, and it's dead. And then you can cook it into some nice, jollof or some
that's
fufu
delicious.
or something. And I believe it has intestines, so you would have to look for the intestines too and drain the intestines and all that. That is what it is.
And they're better when they're with eggs.
Oh.
Most of the persons the eggs are extremely delicious and nutritious at the same time.
Oh, do they lay
I
eggs?
see my mom whenever they buy.
Oh, they lay eggs?
Yeah.
Wow.
She always look for the ones that are loaded with eggs.
Wow.
And the eggs it's cooked also with the coconut milk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are the eggs? How big are they?
They're small.
They're on a string.
Oh, it's a string.
Yeah.
Ah,
They're on a string.
like the eggs of a frog.
And they lay the eggs in sand.
Sana.
For example, if you are a community that are making coal, wood, wood coal, they would destroy your pile because you will have your thing making your coal and you need no oxygen in there, but they'll come, they go lay their eggs and oxygen will get into your pit.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll give the final words to you. Yeah, we have run out of time. Anything you want to say? You've been in Ghana, you've gone to the castle, what you have seen, whatever you want to share with the millions of viewers and listeners we have, please go ahead.
Okay, we were lucky to go and visit, lucky or unlucky to go and visit the El Nino Castle and the place of the last bath. And the place of the last bath was okay, but when I reached to the El Nino Castle, the first tour was to the main dungeons. That was kind of like okay. But when I went to the female dungeons, I went to the door and I stepped out. It was too much for me. I couldn't understand such humanity. And I was lucky. My grandmother, her father was from Ghana. So she used to tell us stories because she knew her grandfather. So I had a little, he traveled the journey to Guyana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We're going to make time again another time and do a 3-hour show. In fact, this was extremely interesting and all that. Those of you who are not married, have you found Ghanaian boyfriends yet? Or you are all married? All of you? Marcia. Okay, so thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on the show. Thank you so much. We love you. And we're hoping to see you again next year when we do the Guyana Day. Oh, my God. I can't wait. Oh, gosh. Thank you so much.